Yeah, but not dying, but more like it's so hot that it's like, man, like it's really, how would I describe it? I'm not dying. It's just like I can't handle winter at 30 degrees outside. I'm just like, I'm freezing. So, yeah, I'm like, you know what? That'll be hard. So, yeah, I'm thinking about that. Of just taking care of stuff. So, yeah, okay. I think the back is pretty good. I'm gonna need to wash that sheet eventually. But yeah, so just wanted to give you a heads up. And then just in regards to like clarification of what you said, because I'm just like, I think you meant that. I don't know. So, yeah, I think maybe I could be totally wrong. So, yeah. I have an energy drink in here too. So that way that's taken care of. I have food. But yeah, feel free to let me know if I'm wrong or anything like that. But yeah, I'll be at my job for another 2 weeks at least, and then after that, yeah, I'm looking at working. You take care of stuff, or moving and working. So yeah, it's completely and utterly up to you. I'll let you be the ultimate decision maker in this case, because I know it affects other people's lives too. And yeah, I was actually watching some of the old videos, and I'm like, I really like your voice. It's awesome and soothing and comforting, and so yeah. Yeah, I know, and I'm moving this all over the place. Okay. Trying to organize and clean up. I'm going to do dishes, then put them away, place them back in my car. Mosquito. I mainly put the bug spray around like my feet and my arms and my face. Hey, you with the face. I like your face. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot to tell you this one story. So, what is that this guy comes in, and he's, at this hotel, that I work at. And we start talking, and I forget how it comes about, but I basically mention about, like, yeah, I've had guys, and I found that this is the best deterrent, because guys apparently don't, like, respect no, like me saying no, or, like, yeah, telling them I'm not interested or whatever. And then, yeah, so I tell him the story about where, basically this guy is like, yeah, I'm interested in you, da-da-da. And he's like, I think you're wifey material, or, wife material. And it's like, okay. And then he I'm like, we had just met. Like, this is our second time meeting. And so we meet for the second time, and he's like, you know what? I'm really tired of being by myself and being alone. And he's like, yeah, can you move in with me? And I was like, have you read the Bible? He's like, yeah, I've read the Bible. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to throw this one away. It's been out for I'm going to throw all this away. Candy is attached. Can't let go of Candy. I'm connected to you. I'm attached to you. So I was like, okay, so according to the Bible, it says that, if I live with someone, then, basically, I would be their concubine. And I'm like, I'm not a person's concubine. I'm, their wife. And yeah, so anyways, whenever I said that, he's like, I guess me saying that is definitely a self-defense thing, because I've been hit on so often, and I think I'm going to throw this away too. I mean, it might still be good, but I think it's melted. Or I'll keep it. I don't know. It's in this hot car. So yeah, I was like, I'm wife material. And he walked away and he's like, I've read the Bible too. And he kept mentioning that those who get divorced are those who don't endure, which actually, according to the Bible, and it's like, no, I didn't really say anything, but for me, actually, according to the Bible, so Moses actually gave permission for divorce if they cheated on each other. And Jesus in the New Testament said Moses gave permission for divorce because of the hardness of your hearts. And basically, I think it's because of, how would I explain it? Hardness of hearts. I know some pastors I've heard, it's like, oh, your husband's being abusive, you should still stay with him. And I still remember one pastor, he's like, yeah, in order to love someone else properly, you have to also love yourself. And it's not like, I want to love myself by having $100 million. No, he's like, in regards to abuse, I don't leave, basically. So I'm like, okay, yeah, there we go. So yeah, but yeah, so he mentioned that, and then also, whenever I mentioned about the Bible and such, he was like, yeah, I'm sort of having an affair on my wife, the guy that, I was talking to inside the hotel. He's like, yeah, I'm sort of having an affair on my wife, and I'm just like, what? I didn't really say anything. He's like, yeah, basically, just my wife, shoots daggers at my back, and I was thinking, you know what, yep. Because a lot of men, of course, I've mentioned this before, where it's they'll have an affair on their wife if they're and it's not oh, I want the latest fling or whatever, I want the thrill, the excitement, but it's more oh, I want to go ahead and, where is it, for the fling or the excitement, but it's more they're miserable, basically. And he put blame on her, and he was unwilling to get a divorce. And so I was like, you need therapy, marriage counseling. And when you go to marriage counseling, it's not just you do the work or she only needs to do the work. I'm like, you both need to do the work, because he's in an affair, which is totally wrong. And some people are going to be like, you need to leave, especially since your wife is shooting daggers and you're miserable in the marriage. But I'm like, you both need to do the work. Let's be honest here. There's something that she's not happy with in the marriage, and because she's not happy, she's making it miserable for you. And because she's making it miserable for you, you're oh, okay, instead of getting divorced, I'm going to go ahead and cheat. So, and it was interesting. He was like, yeah, she keeps shooting daggers at me, and he's like, my wife just needs to believe that I love her. And it's like, okay, like, so basically a part of him does love her, even though he's having an affair on her. That does, like, they're both in the wrong, basically. They're both totally wrong. But, like, I can see in this case. And then I actually told her, like, I recommend, like, marriage counseling, and she's like, I don't think that will help because it's been 4 years and he hasn't changed. And she's like, yeah, I actually have, like, a master's degree in clinical psychology. I have heard that, like, this is the third time, like, I've heard it from women who are, like, miserable in their marriage, and I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't say this, but I'm like, I don't believe you, like, at all. Like, you're not willing to go for counseling because, I don't know. So I'm just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's not that at all. Because if you do have a master's in clinical psychology, like, yeah, it might be 4 years, but in 4 years, there's something that you haven't touched on that is making both of you happier. Go to a third opinion, like, get a second opinion, or not a third opinion, but go to a third party, get a second opinion, basically. So I'm just like, really? Like, really? So, yeah, and she mentioned about that, and I was like, yeah, and I actually brought up you and I, how I would have to say it was sort of like a breakthrough in actually making, like, our relationship work a little bit better. Honestly, like, seriously, a breakthrough, because I was like, yeah, I was having some problems with someone, and then they mentioned what I was doing wrong, because, like, sometimes we're like, oh, it's the other person, da-da-da, but sometimes we don't look at ourselves of what we're doing wrong. And so I was like, yeah, and so they brought up what I was doing wrong. It's like, oh. And so that was, for me anyways, I think that was, like, the turning point, and that really, really helped. So, and so, yeah, and it was interesting because, like, him and I had been talking about divorce, like, and he's like, yeah, those who, and it was so sweet. Like, he came inside the front desk, or up to the front desk, and he's like, yeah, I want to move to a different room because I think it'll be safer for me and my wife. And his eyes were, like, lit up, like, my wife's here, and he was, like, happy, and it's like, aww. So, yeah, anyways, but he mentioned about divorce, and, like, we talked a little bit, and then he left, and then, like, I, like, was walking out the back door, and immediately I started talking about, like, oh, yeah, about divorce, da-da-da, and, like, he's like, yeah, and then he pointed over to his wife, he's like, that's, my wife's here. And so I looked over at his wife, and I was like, oh, shoot, I may have, like, digged a hole. And I was like, yeah, the only time I support divorce is, like, if they're being physically abusive. And the wife just, like, frowned at me. I was like, I'm gonna check some rooms. Bye. And then, like, that evening, she came in, and she's like, yeah, can you print something out for me? I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And, like, email it to this email address. She emails it, and it's like a petition for divorce. I was like, I feel so bad. Maybe I shouldn't work here anymore. I mean, at the same time, with the school schedule and everything, yeah, it wouldn't work. But, like, it's like, this is so miserable. Like, it was so horrible for me. So, yeah, I was like, no. But I did mention about, basically, like, me and my friend were having problems, and basically they mentioned something that I needed to work on, and then I went ahead and, like, started working on it, basically. So, yeah, in that case, yeah. So I guess with our story, and that was pretty much all that I mentioned, with our story, it taught me basically a valuable lesson, that sometimes, like, people do stuff and it's in response to something else. Like, sometimes it's in response to what someone else is doing or saying, and then sometimes, like, some people will do or say stuff because of whatever, and they don't realize that it's hurting someone else. So yeah. And then later on, yeah, so that was the lesson I guess I've learned from that. And then later on, as I was walking out, and I was walking, I think to get some towels or something, I was walking across, and then I saw her sitting at some steps smoking, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then she was smoking, she looked at me for a few seconds and then looked away, and I was like, I wonder if I hit a nerve, because like she said they had been together for 5 years, and then for 4 years he's been like a narcissistic, where it's like, oh, like I'm a big bad man. And she's like, pfft. And so she also mentioned like she had clinical psychology or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not narcissistic. That's just called having an ego and having like, some kind of not ego, but like self-esteem. Like, I think I can do this. I know I can do this. So that can be ego or self-esteem, but I'm just like, really? Really? So, yeah, I hope she takes the marriage counseling route and isn't like, oh yeah, we don't need counseling. I don't think counseling will work. And I told him specifically, like, you both have to go ahead and put in the work, not just her, or not just him either, because there's problems on both sides. And then for the simple fact that she reacted that way, like, oh, he's narcissist, like, oh, I'm big and bad or whatever, I'm the man. For whatever reason, there's stuff that he said or done that she's not happy with. There's that. And then also it's like, okay, there's that. And then the other part is, or it could be stuff that there's no reason to react to. Or, yeah, there's no reason to react to. Because like it's not that big a deal. Like basically you need to let it go. So I don't know, for whatever reason, like, yeah. So hopefully prayers that basically they can figure it out, work through it. They need prayers, like major ones, and I'm happy with this one. I'm gonna return the other one. How many do I have these left? Like 10? I'm looking at the Red Bulls that I have. So yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you later. I'm gonna finish cleaning up my car and anything else. So yeah, hope that you have a great day. Hopefully, think I'm gonna set a goal of up to 100 pages in my book. So yeah, hope that you have a great day. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and I'll let you know that I saw it tonight, and then I don't know what time. And then aside from that, I will respond to it by tomorrow morning. So yeah. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and I'll respond as soon as I can.